Okay, so Google Home Max. Let's check it out. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. So honest it hurts. Thank you very much. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. Now, I told people on the channel that I had purchased one of these guys and asked if people wanted to have a review, and most people, well, a lot of people said yes, so I thought I would go ahead and do a review. So here we are with the Google Home Max. If you're not familiar with what it is a giant stereo-ish speaker. It's got, there's not really a whole lot known about the specs, to tell you the truth, but I'll tell you what I know about the specs right here, in this section right here. This particular model I got is the white version with the gray cloth over the top. It's a pretty nice design, to tell you the truth. You get volume up and down this way, you play pause this way. It's got two microphones up here to hear you say, "Hey Google," and then to tell it to do things. And I've found that I have integrated that feature into what I do here in my office a lot more. Like if I want to turn on that light back there, I can tell it to turn on that light. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've been delving deeper into the Google Assistant world and finding that I like it quite a bit. But let's continue the walk around here. Now, a couple of other microphones here on the side. You can put this straight up like this and it'll play mono. You can pair two of these together for stereo sound. Now that AirPlay 2 has come out for the Apple ecosystem and allows the HomePod to be in stereo, it would be interesting to see what a stereo pair of these would look like compared to a stereo pair of the HomePods. Now, on the bottom it comes with this little pad that's magnetized, which is cool. And it sticks on the side there. It doesn't stick very heavily, but this is to isolate it from whatever you've got underneath it, so that it won't pick up, the qualities of what it's set on in order to have better sound. I think this also sticks on the side here. It does, for when you're in mono or stereo pair. Let's look around the back. Around the back, we got Google logo. This is a switch to turn the mic on and off, which is a nice touch. Thank you, Google. Nice touch. Right here's where the power jack goes. It's all colored this like sort of weird olivey color, which is very retro. Very retro. My mother had a oven not too far off, a little darker, but not too far off from this color. So the cord is that color. This back port is the back port here is that color, and then of course the magnetic pad is that color. We've got AC power in. We've got some sort of reset button. We've got a USB-C 3, which I think can charge things, but I'm not quite sure, and it's not entirely clear what the purpose of that USB-C is. Maybe there'll be more of a purpose for it down the line. And then we've got a 3.5 millimeter audio input. Now, Google likes to show that you can pair a record player with this by plugging something in there. And I suppose you could, but I don't know. You're not really getting the full effect of vinyl. Not vinyls, vinyl, if you're plugging it into something like this. And I guess that brings us to, how does this thing sound? How does it hold up in the world of smart home speakers? I also have two Google Home Minis that I've got spread around the house. And the nice thing is you can pair this with them to make multi-room audio. And multi-room audio is something that until just the other day the HomePod couldn't do, but Sonos and other competitors could. This guy is really nice sounding. I was impressed enough to decide to keep it, even though I know that the Sonos, this is most comparable to the Sonos Play 5. The Play 5 has almost the identical form factor to this. And the Sonos Play 5 definitely sounds better than this. However, this is $400, the Play 5 is $500. And the Sonos Play 3 is slightly smaller than this, but also has a stereo field available to it. And that is $300. So this sits right in the middle of the two Sonos offerings. And I have to say, from a sound quality standpoint, it holds its own. How would I describe the sound of this guy? Well, I think the best way to describe it is to say that it is a very full sound. You can EQ, treble, and bass, nothing parametric, just those two functions. And I find that I just listen to it flat, because some stuff, if you EQ the treble up to get a little bit more crispness, then some material can come across as harsh. If you EQ the bass down to get rid of some of the overall thumpiness of more modern stuff, then other stuff suffers. So I just leave it flat. And the sound that I get out of it is better than good. Is it worth $400? I'm not quite sure it is. However, because it's got the added Google Assistant and can integrate with so much stuff around your home, and once you get yourself in with Google Home Minis or Google Homes, it's a good base station. So for here in this room, where I hang out sometimes, it's the perfect size for this room. I can play it at medium to low volume and not be overwhelmed by the sound. I can play it at higher volume and it really fills the room up nicely. I will say that compared to Sonos and compared to the HomePod, the sound of this is a little softer. It doesn't have the tightness, it doesn't have the audiophile kind of sound in the same way that the Sonos does or the HomePod does. It sounds really, really good, but sometimes, the low end is a little mushy and the top end is a little rolled off, and it's just not as good as I would want it to be. However, for its intended use, just to be sitting around in your home pumping out some music while you're doing other things or doing things for you when you talk to it, it's really, really cool. And it's really, from a design standpoint, it looks good in a room. So Google Home Max, the end-all be-all for me is that if this were $300 or $250, I think it's the perfect base station for an integrated system of other Google Home devices. At $400 for the quality that you can get, I think that it does sit right in that middle space between the Sonos Play 5, then the Apple HomePod, then below that something like the Sonos Play 3. It sits right there. It is a good sounding device. It does have the kind of qualities that you want to enjoy listening to music, but it's not as good as those higher priced models. So I guess, we go 1, 2, 3. So Play 5 is probably the best sounding Sonos that you can get, and it beats the Apple HomePod by just a little bit. The HomePod is great sounding. I haven't had a chance to test it for stereo. If you want me to do that, I don't know if I want to spend $700, but if you want me to do that, then tell me in the comments below. I'm pointing at my lap, but that's where the comments are. So that's it for the Google Home Max. A pretty darn good smart home speaker that you can enjoy for some good sound, but it can also be incredibly helpful with the things that you have wired into your smart home network. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks so much for being here. If this was your first time here, then, do the things that you need to do if you want to come back. And if you've been here before, then, I love you very much, and you guys are all awesome. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.